All right, folks, welcome back. Today we are discussing the Anime Awards, and I got to be honest, I did not know about these, even though I was a big anime fan. So I'm excited to talk about it. It was hosted in Tokyo a few weeks back, and basically, Brian and I wanted to discuss the Anime of the Year category. Okay, so the winner is Solo Leveling. The other nominations were the Netflix anime show Delicious in Dungeon, Frieren Beyond Journey's End, Dan to Dan, The Apothecary Diaries, and Kaiju number 8.
Yeah, so it seems like, Solo Leveling kind of cleaned up at the Anime Awards, not just for the best anime show, but also in a lot of categories. Which, I definitely really liked Solo Leveling, but I think I'm kind of feeling like Freren, I'm always going to butcher that.
Me too.
Always. I
Me
just
too.
can't. I just can't. I'm the butcher. And then also I was really disappointed to see Kaiju number 8 kind of getting snubbed. I'm biased because I do read the manga, and I think that does immerse you and connects you even more to these stories. Dan to Dan is so great to an original as well, and I believe it got best original score. But it seemed like Solo Leveling kind of cleaned house, and I don't know if I thought it was better than Freren or Kaiju number 8. I think Kaiju is just such a cool like dynamic of a classic kaiju story with kaiju fighters, and has just kept me on its toes. Same with Freren. I think Solo Leveling kind of feels like your prototypical anime story, and I thought those other two were fresher. So I'm a little biased. Nothing against Solo Leveling. It's a great series, but I think it maybe got a little bit too much recognition, and Kaiju number 8 needed a little bit some. It just, I don't know, it was a tough year, a lot of great anime. So at the end of the day, how upset can you be when this kind of feels like a pretty stacked list? I mean, there maybe have been better years, but I'm not complaining.
Yeah, me neither. And I that's a good point you brought that up, because I was like, this is a handful of very well done shows. So yeah, it's kind of like, okay, it's stacked, and that's a good thing. But Brian, I agree with you. I think Solo Leveling, here's what I had it as. I haven't seen Delicious in Dungeon, so I just want to
That
clarify
one's
that.
fun. That one's fun. It's
Okay.
like this fun, like sweetheart, kind of like with this dungeon mythic trope in there, just like just like with this cooking element. It's a fun hodgepodge of two tropes that does, classic anime. They're just like finding these awesome ways to blend tropes, and you keep thinking, oh, this is a played out trope, and you're like, nope, let's give it another twist, and you're like, fresh again.
Yeah, yeah, and without the exception of that in my ranking system, I'm pretty much right where Brian is. I had number 1 at Frieren, number 2 Kaiju number 8, 3 Apothecary Diaries, 4 Solo Leveling, and then Dan to Dan was tied for me in the 4 slot. So I just
Dan to Dan's so good too. I might be sleeping on that too. I don't know. It's tough.
It's great, and yeah, and for my money, you got to give it to Frieren. To me, that's the most original story out there. I also thought the Apothecary Diaries was very interesting, but the Solo Leveling, I am a little tired of the leveling up and life is a video game esque concept that has just been over and over and over, like just a lot of those kind of shows, which has perhaps if this had come out 5 years ago, I would have been like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. But I still did love it. I've seen the whole season of all those except Delicious in the Dungeon. So all very quality shows. But yeah, we just had to talk about it because I thought it was pretty interesting, pretty stacked year.
Yeah, but I assume everybody else has their own list of how they believe it ranks. So please down below, let us know what you thought about the Anime Awards, what you thought were the snubs, who they got right, what they got wrong. And of course, check in on another episode of the Blockbuster Brothers. We appreciate you all watching. Have a good one.